Hi, happy Monday. I hope you're doing well today. We've got so many great things to talk about this week. This week, we're looking at geography, and we're going to have such a fun time looking at maps and a globe and all kinds of things. But first, I want to read to you a book, and it's called I Had a Hippopotamus. The pictures are great, and I thought this would be a fun way to look at and start this. So let's do it. It says, for my parents whose roots gave me wings. We always look at the opening and the cover page. And the author wrote that. Here's the first picture right here. Okay, it says, I had a hippopotamus. But I gave it to my mom. I had an anaconda. But I gave it to my dad. I had a rhinoceros. But I gave it to my sister. I had an elephant. But I gave it to my baby brother. I had a kangaroo. But I gave it to my grandma. That's the kangaroo with grandma. I had a pangolin. But I gave it to my grandpa. I had a coyote. But I gave it to my uncle. I had a marabou. But I gave it to my cousin. I had a jaguar. But I gave it to my best friend. I had an orangutan. But I gave it to my neighbor. I had a warthog. But I gave it to the girl next door. I had a crocodile. But I gave it to my teacher. I had a small scampering. Doesn't say what. I have to turn the page. Sly, naughty, lovable kitten. And I kept it for myself. I love this book. It's called I Had a Hippopotamus. I thought that was a lot of fun to read. The next thing I want to talk to you all about is geography. We're going to use our textbook. Let's look at that textbook. It says communities. And this is our geography textbook. And what I wanted to look at with you all is this globe together. Do you see that? The globe has our whole world on it. And it's round, just like Earth. And right there, you can see the line going around it. Right there. That's the equator line. And it also has the South Pole at the very bottom, down here listed. and the North Pole at the top. This is a globe. I also wanted to look at a map with you. A globe is round, but a map is flat. We could lay a map on the table. Here's a map. That's the same Earth that we just showed right here. But this is round, the globe is, whereas the map is flat. And we can use maps for all kinds of things. Here's a community right here, and over here they've turned it into a map of what the community would look like. It went from a picture to a map. The other thing I wanted to show you is a lot of times on maps, we'll find this thing at the bottom, and it tells us the cardinal directions. It has N, W, S, and E, and that stands for north, west, south, and east. These are at the bottom of maps, and so that way you know which direction is north and which direction is south or west and east. This tells us directions on the map. I want to look at a map with you all now that I've got. See the compass right here? Do you see how it says north, west, south, east? Right there, just like we were talking about in the textbook. Let's fold our map open. This is a Kentucky map. It's our neighboring state. It's such a nice map to have. I drive a lot in Kentucky, and I like having a Kentucky map. There's all kinds of information on here. Down here, they have all of the little cities and towns listed. And then next to them, they have little information. So we can find on this big map where these little towns are listed. They have it listed as a grid. And it also has all of the interstates and everything else. It's got so many cool things. I love maps. Right up here, I'm going to show you this shit real fast. This is Rabbit Hash. See how it's underlined? We talked about that last week. Rabbit Hash in Kentucky is very close to where I grew up in Indiana. We'll keep talking about maps and everything this whole week. I wanted to spend a little bit of time today reviewing what we discussed last week. Remember last week, we talked about words and we talked about how some of them start with the same letter. So we were looking at words that start with A and then words that start with B. So we're going to review all of that today. So the first one was A. And we're just going to go through the alphabet. The A was ah. That's the sound A makes when it's in a word. As in apple or acrobat. Right down here. Okay, the next letter we talked about was B. B makes a ba sound, as in baby. And baseball and bank. We're just reviewing these from last week. C makes a ka sound, as in cake. That's a good C word. Or cat, right down here. And then we talked about D. D makes a da sound, as in deer or dog. And E. E makes the sound, as in egg. Do you hear that E sound there? And then we talked about F. F makes the sound, as in fall or farmer. After F, we talked about G. G makes a g sound, as in glasses or geese or gold. And then H. H makes a sound like it's hot, or hat, or heart, or hamburger. Those are all great H words. Let's keep going. After H, we have I. I makes an sound like ink or iceberg. After I, we have J. And J makes a j sound, as in jug or jet. Then we have K. K makes a k sound, as in ketchup or kick. Those are good K words. What about L? L makes a L sound, as in ladder or ladybug. After L, we had M. M makes a m sound, as in map that we just talked about. Map starts with an M. The other M words that are really familiar are milk and moon. After M, we talked about N. N is a little bit like M. Remember, M has the M sound and N has the N sound. So with N, we get nail or nest. Those are both great N words. After N, we have O. O makes an ah sound, as in opera. Hear that ah sound? Opera. After O, we have P. P makes the p sound, as in, what do we have here? Passport or panda. That's a good one. And in the back, we have pilot. You can definitely hear the p sound there. Pilot. Let's keep going. After P, we have Q. Q makes a qu sound, as in quack. Right down here, we've got Q. Let's see the other Q words. There aren't a whole lot listed. We have quarter or quilt. After Q, right down here, we have R. You see that? Right down there, R. R makes the ruh sound, as in rabbit. So we're just going through. So we had Q, and now we're on, we had P, didn't we? Let's go back through a little bit together.